Lesson number 5 with Molly. Hi, I'm Charlie Thorburn. Welcome to Crazy Mordor Gun Dogs. And you can see Molly is growing up and becoming incredibly fast. Playing, messing around, being a bit naughty. You can see she just saw a bird then. Things are starting to become a bit trickier with her. However, on the way just down to this paddock just now, you will have seen Molly interacting with Sausage, Freddie's little dog Sausage, who followed us down. And she very easily just walked away from Sausage, not really interested. And I know a lot of you will be like, oh, but if that was my dog, they would be like obsessing over this other dog. There's a few reasons here. The main one is basically, I think I've said it before, but essentially taking a dog away from its siblings at 10 weeks old, or 8 weeks, some of you probably have had puppies at, and in the past even younger, is just essentially wrong. It kind of is what it is, because it's what we do. And we sell puppies at 10 weeks old. But the ones that become more well-rounded dogs in terms of their interaction with other dogs are always the ones who grow up with their siblings or with, you know, dogs of the same age. And I've probably used Freddie as an example for this, because Freddie was essentially an only child until he was about 5.5. So every time someone would turn up here with kids, because he wasn't at school because they were sort of locked down and all those sorts of boring things. So every time someone would turn up here, he'd be like, have they got kids? And he'd want to play with their kids. He'd want to be like, hi, let's play. And he'd be quite intense with them. He had a lot of fun, admittedly, so did they, because it's a pretty cool place to grow up. But he was quite sort of full on intense because he wasn't used to interacting with kids. So he took every moment to be a little bit over the top, which is something that you guys probably have a problem with your dogs. Now, people think, oh, well, if I let them play with other dogs, they'll get over it, because that's what we do at Mordor Gun Dogs. We allow them to be in a paddock or in a kennel with other dogs. The thing is, they are with them 24 hours a day. So the novelty really does wear off. Whereas if you just go, oh, well, once a week or once a day or twice a day, I take my dog to an area, a park or something, and allow them to just bugger around with other dogs completely out of control, you sort of think, oh, well, they're going to get over it. Now, it just doesn't really work like that. And then what you find is you've created this environment where your dog, in this situation where your dog thinks, I go to the park to bugger around with other dogs. That's all they're thinking. Okay, if every time Molly came into this paddock, all she did was come in here with other dogs and messed around, it would be harder for me to get her to concentrate. I'm not training her in her kennel when her other dogs' friends are around. I'm not training her in the yard where she's hanging out during the day on the sunny days. I'm training her in a paddock that she only comes to really for occasional runs and some training. So there's like a differential for her, that this is sort of somewhere that something happens. Sit. She knows, she comes down here, she pays attention, she does her thing, and she works with me. Now I'm holding a lead, but the lead is not on the dog. Okay, we are still not quite ready for Molly to be on a lead. I might occasionally, and bear in mind that apart from what you've seen on videos, the only thing, and been told about on videos, the only thing Molly's done since the last video is she's been at a demonstration, which was a one-day demonstration, and she did a little training session with Ash while I was on the sort of speaker, the microphone. But apart from that, she hasn't done anything since her last video. So popping her on a lead now is very much a new thing, okay? Now, she's just sort of wanting to play with it and chew it. I just want her to kind of vaguely get used to the feeling of the lead round her neck. I don't want her necessarily following me around. What I want is that lead to stay nice and loose and her just to stay with me. You can see she's got it in her mouth. That's fine. I don't want to start playing tug of war. I don't want to let her chew through the lead. Molly, Molly, Molly. I just want to just become a little bit accustomed to that feeling around her neck. And that's it. There's no more to it. We would just take it off. It's worked really well. We'd just take it off. We maybe give her a little retrieve. Well, get her to do a little bit of hunting after the ball in front of us, engaging her with the ball. Sit. I'm not going to just throw it straight away. I want to get something from her before I throw the ball. She's got to earn the retrieve. The retrieve is the fun bit. She's got to earn it. She's just starting to lose her baby teeth and get her big teeth. So the sort of sharp little bites that we used to be getting aren't quite so vicious anymore. But I'm just very much engaging with her. If you saw there a moment, she just thought about getting bored. I'm engaging with her enough, but not too much that she gets bored and wants to quit. Molly, good girl, Molly, good girl, come here. Good girl. Now I'm not going for the ball. I'm going for Molly, okay? I'm trying to get Molly. I'm allowing her to have the ball. I'm allowing her to keep it in her mouth, but I'm just wanting to hold on to her so she learns just to be next to me with the ball in her mouth for a period of time. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't special. She didn't sit there beautifully with the ball in her mouth. She was messing around. She dropped it. But what I don't want to do is allow her just to pick it up, run around, because that just becomes the game. That becomes a massive game. And we see so many people who are like, oh yeah, my dog retrieves, but it doesn't bring them back. So your dog picks up a ball, but won't come back with it. And it's like, we can fix it. We can help you fix it. But why let it happen in the first place? Why not just get them to a point where they're bringing it back to you nicely and enthusiastically? Now I'm in the middle, in the middle of the paddock, but I'm quite close to the gate. So if I feel like I'm losing Molly, good girl, come on then. I've got a few options. One of them is to make myself look even more appealing, or slightly appealing. I'm not an appealing looking person necessarily. Luckily my wife is blind. Come on Molly. Come on Molly, come on then. Good girl Molly, good girl, good girl. Trying to make myself a bit more appealing by lying on my back and just playing with her. Or if that didn't work, I'd jump up very quickly. I'd be decisive. I'd make that decision. I'd jump up and I'd run for the gate. If running for the gate didn't make it more interesting, I would go through the gate and I would leave her and I would disappear off up the track. And because Molly's quite an engaged little dog, she wouldn't like that. She'd be at the gate. She'd be wanting to come with me. So then I'd come back down. I'd make a fuss of her and I'd try to do the whole thing again. But I do it from the gate. So she thought, oh, if I don't pay attention, he'll be off through that gate and he'll leave me behind. I don't want to be left behind. I want to be with him. So then again, I won her round in a kind of way that works and she understands, rather than forcing her to do it, or rather than trying to bribe her with anything. I'm bribing her with me. It's about me. I'm making her want to come because she's worried about not being with me. Okay, and it sounds very selfish, but it is. Having dogs is selfish. Making them behave is selfish. They don't want to do it. They want to own hundreds of acres, thousands of acres, and just run around and chase rabbits all day. But if you're going to engage with a dog and have a dog, then it becomes all about you. They live where you want them to live, in the house you want them to live in the car that you want to buy, on the lead that you want them to be on, with the trainer that you want to train with. It's all about you. And she may as well just get that right from the word go, and let's not pretend. Okay? So just at the end, there was a little bit of like Molly dropping the ball, a bit like, whatever. So we have to be really careful that we're not throwing the ball too much for her, but also that we are throwing it enough. And this is one of these things that is very hard to teach people over a video because every scenario is different. I am not going to throw another ball for Molly now because I feel like she's a bit, whatever. But what I am going to do is I'm going to think, I need to probably throw a ball a bit more often. I probably need to do this on Friday. I think it's Wednesday today. I probably want to do it again on Friday, maybe Saturday. I want to engage with her a little bit more, do a bit more retrieving to build up that drive. She's got quite a lot of drive for the ball, but maybe just not quite enough that she's going to get bored too quickly. And then I want to be careful that I don't overdo it and I bore her. So all these things you've got to be really careful with. And in the meantime, I'm thinking about starting to get her to quarter. So I'm just teaching her to follow my arms from left to right. Now, she doesn't have a clue what this is about. She's just jumping around thinking it's funny. But what she's doing is she's learning when my arm's over there, it means go over there. When my arm's over here, it means go over here. I'm not walking along doing that because that doesn't make any sense to me and I'm going to get it wrong. I could actually teach Molly every time I put my hand that way, she goes that way. It would be quite simple. But that wouldn't be logical to me. So I would then start getting it wrong and I'd be like, oh, which arm am I meant to use? Oh, it's confusing. So I just use the arm in the direction that I want her to go because that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life with her. And therefore that's what she's going to do. It also engages her in my hands. All of my commands come from my mouth, my face, and my hands. So apart from when I'm sending her like that, Everything is up here. My hands are up here, the ball's up here, she's looking up here, my mouth is up here. It's all about here, apart from on the odd occasion we're doing that and then we're back up here again. So it's about just setting these little things up, getting you into the habit of doing these things. We want this to be instinctive for you as much as it is for Molly, because the more instinctive you are with it, the more consistent you are to giving the commands and doing the actions, and the easier it is for Molly to get it right and the harder it is for her to get it wrong. Hope this has been helpful. Remember, you get out what you put in, and little Molly, as ever, is putting in everything, and is going to be a delightful little dog for her new owner in the future. But in the meantime, she's ours, and we're getting to enjoy her. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.